Let's talk about tech. Let's go on the tech hour. Apple. Let's start with Apple. Apple stock hit all-time highs today. Legendary.
Yeah, got up to, what, 262?
264.
260.
Yeah, I think 264.38.
Yeah.
Close at 262.
So Apple, you know, it survived every era. It's still here. They said the iPhone sales are booming. They got the AirPod.
Passport Bro edition cooking.
Yeah, you know what I mean? I'm spokesperson now. They signed a deal with F1.
Yep,
5-year deal with them, which was if you watch the movements, right? F1 the movie was their first, one of their biggest movies in terms of blockbuster hits.
Yeah,
with Brad Pitt, and so it kind of makes sense that they.
It's a great movie too. Yeah,
they actually. So I finally. I hadn't turned on my Vision Pro for a while, but that you can actually sit inside the F1 car in your Vision Pro now. And so you can kind of see how they were trying to build this up. They wanted something in the world of live action sports. They didn't get basketball. I don't think they've given up on that. Like if you listen to some of the press conferences, they're like, "Yo, we're here to stay. We're not here for 2 to 3 years. We're not here for 10 years. We're here forever." And so they will eventually have enough to put money into one of these leagues. I know they had some MLS. They did Major League Baseball, but they got one game a week. So F1, even though it's not even like ESPN still has it, you can see like their foray into it and them trying to put all their technology. Decent.
Shout out to Vic Mensa. He actually filmed a music video on his iPhone.
Yep.
And Pastor Jamal Bryant had an interesting thing where he said that he felt that the reason why they picked Bad Bunny was because they want people to listen on the AirPods when he talks in Spanish. So everybody's talking about Apple these days. And then I saw somebody in the comments that said Mansa Musa was the richest person. He's from Ghana. He actually is from Mali. Timbuktu.
Yeah.
Timbuktu. That's modern day Mali. But Kush. The Kush Kingdom.
Oh.
Look it up. Look it up, ladies and gentlemen. The real Kush.
Yes, I have the meta glasses. Mr. Monty, I have the meta glasses, my boy.
Okay. Apple, have they made it through? And this is clear sailing to greatness?
Definitely. I gotta give them credit for being resilient. The iPhone 17 is selling like crazy. But the challenges that I've discussed are still there. It also highlights the point of holding, regardless of my deep criticism for them. I never changed the formulation on 2 Tech 2 Index, so I'm not playing both sides. I'm just giving you analysis. Gross margin 46%, net margin is 26.8%. But they have had a tumultuous year. If you look at their comps in the tech space, when others have been flying up in comparison, they definitely hit a high, but no one who's an Apple investor will say that this is one of their best years. My main concern is that they'll never be in the number 1 market cap spot again. So that's my primary concern. But once again, Timothy D. Cook, gotta apologize. I didn't know you was facing that battle with another entity that can't be named.
What battle are you referring to?
I'm never gonna say that.
Why not?
Because I haven't got to 500-600 million yet.
500-600.
It's not every bad battle isn't worth fighting. But have they done a great job? But I'll text you. You can say it if you want to.
Please.
But yeah, kudos to them for fighting through. Kudos to everyone at HQ. I'm still looking for the announcement of what they're going to do in the AI space and see how they're going to work through that. And I think the greatest entrepreneurs and executives on earth, once again, have had to. Zuckerberg had to fight through Congress, not getting Libra coin, not getting certain crypto partnerships, not being able to buy TikTok. And he found a way to recalibrate the company to continue to do better post 2022. I'm looking to see the same thing out of Apple, and then also to see what the vision is in terms of succession planning once Tim does step down as well.
They have been resilient. I think maybe a month ago when we were talking about Apple, and I was like, look, we may have been looking at it wrong. We might have been looking at this whole thing wrong from a standpoint of they've got this treasure chest. Has it been depleted slightly? Yes, but it's still there. And they're going to wait this thing out and see where they're going to make innovation at, rather than saying they were going to be a leader in innovation. And that strategy has worked for the most part. Also, we talked about the iPhone, and I was a victim of it as a guy that loves Apple products. I upgraded just because I wanted to use the headphones and I couldn't use it on the older phone. And so that life cycle is starting to catch up, right? If you can't have the newest technology, then you're going to upgrade your phone. And that's apparently what has happened with the 17. It has made some improvements, but other phones have that technology already. It's just the brand loyalty that comes with it. And they're going into the biggest quarter of the year for them. I mean, so when you talk about Fed rates getting cut, you talk about fourth quarter coming into play here. I know they got earnings next week. I like Apple to keep climbing. I don't see the tailwind that pulls it back, especially when we start to see some of these numbers come in for the 17. I know it's preliminary now, but maybe we'll get a fresh look at where it's headed. China sales improved. That's huge for them, right? We were talking about 2 years of declining sales.
Yeah, he made that trip over there.
That has changed. And if you saw where he was at this weekend, it tells you that there's more innovation to come. Tim Cook, Jensen Huang, they were at the unveiling of the new fab, the TSM fab in Arizona, which is about to come online. They used to be TSM's number one customer. NVIDIA is now. And so there's more manufacturing, more chips. I know they're talking about the new MacBook. They're slow and steady, which is crazy to say for a company that's a $3 trillion company. I don't see them going back to number one anytime soon.
That was my question. Probability.
But they'll be in the top five. They top five.
For sure.
Tech check. Let's move this along. AMD been on a tear. Also all-time high, 240 right now.
Yeah.
It's going up tremendously. So you would think at some point it would have to have some level of a pullback. Shout out to Dave Shans. Called me today. He's in the AMD option. I know a lot of people are in AMD options.
Chance, I'm expecting a thank you letter at some point.
So
and cash considerations.
Cash considerations at some point.
Yeah.
So what's AMD's?
I think the entire space is going to continue to climb. If you're looking for a price, maybe if it pulls back to 212.48 or 220.212, that would be an area I would like to potentially get in. If they do have a pullback, maybe halfway through next month, they could pull back. But back to being risk on. The days of conservative investing are over, and if you are a conservative investor looking into conservative companies, your portfolio is going to be eaten alive. Prime example of that would be Salesforce. I like Benioff. I like Salesforce. They are 2 steps behind of where the new market is. So as a result, like investors have to deploy money if you run a fund. You can't just put cash on the side. They've been a beneficiary of that. And of course, AMD tightening up their relationship with Washington has helped them tremendously. So AMD will be fine. Maybe by probably by January. They should be at 256.92. And then 2-year price will be like 298.87. They will have a pullback at some point because this is a key level for NVIDIA. Historically, it always has been. But long term, NVIDIA will be A-okay.
AMD.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, it's this is a case of, you know what? There's a price point for every customer. And some customers will like the highest price point because they believe that's the highest value. Some people will pay the mid-tier, and they've done that and they've mastered it. Yeah. And this is the success of it. I think Lisa has made some great moves, starting with, going to Saudi and figuring out partnerships there. And she's been at it. I mean, I spoke about Tim Cook. I forgot to say that she was there. Lisa Su, who's the CEO of AMD, was also at the unveiling at TSM's fab in Arizona. speaking about their relationship. The OpenAI partnership, I mean, you're talking about a company that it's advantageous for it to use your products to help gain more market share and help with that overall revenue. Partnership with Oracle, they're in a space right now that they have clearly put themselves in as number 2, and they've cemented themselves as number 2, and people are valuing it as number 2, which is okay, right? This is not a $1 trillion company yet, right? This is not Broadcom. This is not NVIDIA. They are firm in where they're at, and they still have room for growth. I don't think this is the end for AMD, even at 240. I think that there's some more room here toward the end of this year for it to keep climbing.
And next year as well, because NVIDIA is the rising tide that lifted all boats. And their executive team, especially Lisa, when she was the first, not included in that class, she made great adjustments to make sure that they didn't get left behind. They did the opposite of what Intel as a company historically did the last 10 years. So you got to give them credit.
Shout out to all of y'all. Shout out to everybody that was in those AMD calls. And if you had a plan, then you're not going to ask me, should you sell?
Facts.
Please. You
got to know the exit before you get in.
Yeah, that's a fact. That's a fact. That goes for any position that we talk about.
Microsoft. We haven't talked about Microsoft in a while. Not at an all-time high, but it is doing well.
It's close.
516.
Yeah. All-time highs, 555.45. Microsoft, I think they'll have their moment before the end of the year where they should cross that barrier and break their all-time high. I remember at top of a couple of years, it said stock of the decade. That's panned to be true. Well-run company, very little scandals, amazing profit margin, continue to hold. If you guys need a price, I'll throw one out. Stock Club don't get mad. If it gets back to 508.71, that's an area I would like to get in. But Microsoft is a definite hold through 2032. And for sure, still, in my opinion, will be stock of the decade, regardless of what Sam Altman does and their relationship with OpenAI, however that pans out to be. Microsoft probably one of the best run companies in the world right now, and operating how I wish Apple would, to be honest.
Yeah. I mean, what do you want? What can we say about it? The OpenAI investment has turned out to be absolutely incredible.
One of the greatest investments of all time.
Their investment in Constellation Energy is something that hasn't been talked about, I think, enough, because you can talk about forward vision, right? We can have these data centers, but they already were thinking, if we're going to have the data centers and we're going to run them in the cloud, we need to have a power company that's going to help us do this. And so they've been innovative in that space. The only thing I wonder about, it was the acquisition of Activision Blizzard. I'm still trying to figure out what that was about. But other than that, I mean, like you said, well-run company is going to be here. I mean, even by default, we know what they're doing in the terms of artificial intelligence with their partnerships with OpenAI. So this is one of these gold standard companies that, you got to just have this in the portfolio and keep it there.
All right. Two more, MU and TSM. TSM reported last week and actually went down slightly, and then it went up. But TSM still holding strong. Not at their all-time high, but not too far from it either.
Not too far from it,
Yeah, they ran up to, after earnings, they ran up to 311, then pulled back down to 291. Kind of just moving back and forth. And that key level of 310, let's see if we can cross that over the next couple of weeks. TSM, even when they reported, I was listening, and I forget which secretary it was, but he said, look, we have to win the AI race. This isn't a matter of just winning with China. This is a matter of national security.
Yep.
And you cannot win this race. It's impossible to win this race without having Taiwan Semiconductor being the piece, right? They just actually released a video. I put it in EYLU tonight or tomorrow morning about what that fab looks like. And you can see ASML as that key component, right? They now announced that TSM is going to be using the 2 nanometer on their wafers, which is, this is the first of its kind, right? So when we're talking about how much faster, how much smaller, how much more efficient, but even more important, how energy efficient it is, right? So they said that it's going to be reduced 20 to 30% less power. So when we talk about how much power is going to be needed to, put these GPUs in racks and power them, that's all part of it. TSM has been in the portfolio. I mean, I've been talking about it to death, and it's still at 300, at 298, where it looks like it's going to open tomorrow. It's still undervalued to me.
Yeah,
I think it is the core of the AI economy. NVIDIA doesn't manufacture its chips, right? That's what TSM does. Apple doesn't manufacture its chips. That's what TSM does. AMD doesn't manufacture its chips. That's what TSM. All of them, 90% of the world's GPUs are manufactured by this company. It's the reason why it's a national security issue. It's the reason why these fabs are online in Arizona, and they got them up and running by 2026 when the projected date was supposed to be late 2027. They know that we have to start producing them here because we cannot have a supply chain issue. TSM, I'm with this company for the long run.